Hey everybody, I'm Anna Huthmaker from Huthmaker Violins. So, you got a bass. First of all, congratulations. So we're in kind of a weird time though. A lot of you guys, in the past when you would have gotten your first string bass, you would have gone to the store and rented it. These days though, because of COVID, a lot of times you're actually having them delivered to your house. That's what we're doing for our customers. And so you need to know, what do you do? If this string bass walks in through your front door, how do you get started? I'm here to help you with that. So when you get your bass, the first thing you're going to do, of course, is unpack it. Now, a rule for packing and unpacking basses. The bow is the first thing that always comes out. When you pack it back up later on, it's the last thing that goes in. And I kind of want you to think of it like this. Pretend this is a $5,000 wooden bow. If you take off this big giant cloth case and throw it around, think how fragile this bow might be and think how easy it would be to break. So you always take the bow out first and then set it to the side. We're going to come back to that in just a second. Now, 10 different bass cases are going to unzip and open 10 different ways. So yours might be a little different than mine. Mine has a zipper, a full-length zipper that goes up to the top and it comes all the way around the bottom. And with this particular bass case, the end pin actually has a hole that it comes out of. These can be a little bit of a pain. A lot of cases, the zippers will actually meet at the end pin. They're a little easier. So if you have that hole, you want to go ahead and take it off the bottom of the bass. Otherwise, you're going to do a lot of fighting with it. Now, make the bass work for you. You don't need to necessarily stand this straight up and then try and pick up the case off of it. Lean it. Get it down low, and this will just slide off. Now, there's no bow in it, so I don't have any problem just tossing it over there out of the way. There's nothing else in that case that can break. So now I have a string bass. That case probably had several things in it when you first got it, and we're going to cover those in just a minute. For now, though, you need to know, are you going to sit or are you going to stand? Your teacher will help you with that. Most programs, all the bass players either sit or stand. But whichever one you do, it's going to help you learn how to set your end pin. The end pin is in the bottom of the bass. Now, if you notice, I'm picking up and putting down this bass over and over. I'm always doing it on the side. I'm never laying it down on its back. That's an accident waiting to happen. So it always goes on its side. This is the end pin. And you unscrew it, and then you pull it out, and it will go to a certain length, whatever matches your height, and whether you're sitting or standing. Some end pins have little notches in them, some don't. Again, they can be different. What I suggest is, whether you're sitting or standing, you want to set the end pin so that your left hand is somewhere right along the side of your face. So for me, this is going to be, I've been playing the bass 100 years, so I pretty much know where it is, and I'm a standing bass player. So now, I did not get that end pin right in the notch. So when I do this, it's probably going to go ka-chunk and fall a little bit, but it won't hurt anything. But, so I set the height. I'm holding onto the neck of the bass with my left hand, and when I pull it towards me and lean it towards me, if you notice, my left hand is right next to my head. How are you going to know where your hand's supposed to go? Well, there's a really, really, really good chance that you'll have tapes on your bass, because a lot of times with beginners, that's what they do. So, but for me, it's not rocket science. Usually, I'm about 5 feet, 5'1", so usually the end pin's going to be about that tall. If you pull the end pin out and your hand is up here, it's too tall. If it's down here, it's too low. So just play with it a little bit, pull it in and out, see what feels good. If you're going to end up sitting, I'm not a sitting bass player because my arms are kind of short, it doesn't work for me, but a lot of bass players sit, it's very common for them. But it doesn't really change this whole idea of the height. When my end pin is at the appropriate length, my hand is going to be somewhere right next to my face. This is a good setup for a string bass player. So now that you've got your end pin set up, you've got your bass unpacked, let's talk about the bow. You are going to have one of two kinds of bows, either a French bow or a German bow. And again, your teacher or your program will determine this. There's not a right one or a wrong one. We joke a lot in the bass community about which one is better because we always think the one that we play is better. They both play the exact same, but you do hold them differently. We'll talk about that in another video down the road. For me, I'm a French bow player, and if you look at it, the frog, which is this black thing right next to where my fingers are, is kind of small. This is a German bow. See how big it is? So French bow or German bow. If you go to rent a string bass, when you call the store or do it online, whatever you do, you're going to need to know whether you want a French bow or a German bow. Violin, viola, and cello, they don't have these choices, but string bass, we do. Now, the hair is horsehair. I have a great video all about that you should watch. What you need to know for today is don't touch the hair. Touching the hair messes it up. But your string bass should come with a free rosin. Rosin for bass is interesting. Rosin for bass is not the same as rosin for violin, viola, or cello. Please do not use violin, viola, or cello rosin on your bass bow, and vice versa. Do not use this on your cello bow or your violin bow. It's strictly for bass. Bass rosin is literally, we always say it's like tree sap, all rosin is tree sap, but it literally is just like tree sap. And I want you to look at that. It's cool looking. If I could dig my fingernail into it, I could put a quarter on top of that and sit it out in the sun in the summer and come back a little while later and that quarter will be sitting in the bottom of that rosin. So it's very, very sticky. Always keep your bass rosin in its container, closed, upright. Please do not take your bass rosin and do like this and put it on the kitchen table and walk away. Your mom is not going to be happy with you, I can promise you. Now, when you are ready to use it for the first time, you'll notice, now my rosin is in a little white wax cup. All the rosins, there's a bunch of different kinds. You may get a blue one, you may get a gray one, it doesn't matter. You're going to need to peel a little piece of the paper off. Now, I don't really want to do that with this rosin because it's brand new and I've only got 2 cakes left and I don't have time to order more today. But normally I would just take and scoop off, tear off a little bit of the paper there. Don't tear it all off because again, that paper is what's holding the rosin in there. Then we're going to play, so we do need to tighten the bow a little bit. We want to tighten that hair. And you would take it, and on a bass bow, we don't go in both directions. We just go in one direction. So let's peel off this paper just a little bit. Ugh. And you just go down it a few times and you'll feel it'll be really sticky, really, really sticky. Be careful, if you really clamp that bow down and you really pull hard, you can literally pull the hair out of your bow. You don't want to do that. But do it and then see if it makes some noise. Now my bow's not making any noise because this is brand new horsehair, but as soon as I rosined it up a little bit, it would start making some noise. For a beginner, a lot of times you won't use the rosin for a while because you won't use the bow for a while. Instead, you're going to do what we call pizzicato or plucking. And I would like to really encourage you to grab your bass, unpack it, and do this. Have some fun, make some noise. That's the whole point. As long as you're careful with the bass, as long as you don't throw it around, you're not going to hurt it. It's there to make sound. So I want you to do that for sure. When you're done, first time and every time, when you're done playing, you're going to take a cloth. You're going to wipe off any rosin that's on these strings. This is really important. I know you're going to want to blow off this step. Don't blow it off. That rosin especially, it will build up and it will make your bass sound terrible and it'll take chemicals to get it off. So every day if you'll just wipe it off, it'll stay nice and clean and beautiful, just like this. One other thing. We want your mom and dad to be super happy with you playing, and part of that means not ruining their floors. This is a rock stop. Often you'll have an opportunity to buy one when you rent your bass. Definitely buy one. They're like $7 or $8. It's an investment, it lasts forever. It goes on the floor, and then your end pin goes in the little cup, and it keeps the bass from sliding out from underneath you. Now right now I'm on a carpet, so it's not that big a deal, but if I were on a hardwood floor, or if I were on tile, it would slip right out from underneath me. And last but not least, you notice my end pin has a little black rubber stopper on it. That is not meant to act as a rock stop. It is not meant to stop your bass from sliding around. It's just meant to protect you and the world from that sharp point that's underneath there. If you try and use that as your only rock stop, you'll wear through it very quickly and you'll have to go get a new one. So get yourself a rock stop so that you don't mess up your mom's floor. Figure out how to put your end pin in it, and then you can go to town and start playing your bass. If you have any questions about being a new bass player, go to huthmakerviolins.com, shoot me an email. I'm Anna. I'm a professional bassist, and I love seeing kids play the bass. You can call me anytime, and I'll answer your questions. Now, go practice and have a great day.